Captain Amy Foster never expected to become a diplomat, let alone marry an alien queen. She was a soldier, a pilot who rose through Earth Alliance ranks through determination and skill. Her superiors recognized her unique ability to stay calm under pressure. That was why Admiral Lily Taylor selected her for this impossible mission. The war with the Krylians had raged for 5 years. Humanity was losing badly. The purple-skinned aliens had technology far beyond human capabilities. Their ships could jump across vast distances without using stargates. Their weapons cut through Alliance shields like paper. Their only weakness seemed to be their rigid adherence to cultural traditions. Amy stood in the conference room aboard Space Station, Harmony looking at the grim faces around her. Admiral Taylor sat at the head of the table, her silver hair pulled back in a tight bun. Intelligence Officer Kate Moore shuffled through data files. Diplomat Susan Wright dabbed sweat from her forehead. None of our proposals have worked. Diplomat Wright said their queen refuses standard peace treaties. She claims human promises mean nothing. Amy studied the hologram floating above the table. It showed the Krylian royal vessel, a massive structure that resembled a living creature more than a ship. Kate Moore cleared her throat. We found something interesting in our cultural research. The Krylians consider matrimonial bonds sacred, unbreakable. Her fingers danced across her tablet, bringing up ancient Krylian text. Marriage between leaders creates bonds that extend to entire populations. No Krylian would dare violate such unions. Admiral Taylor leaned forward. Are you suggesting what I think you're suggesting? Kate nodded. A political marriage between our representative and their queen would create a peace no Krylian would break. The room fell silent. It's unprecedented, Diplomat Wright finally said. But desperate times. All eyes turned to Amy. Why me? She asked, knowing the answer already. Admiral Taylor spoke softly. You're unmarried. You've shown exceptional adaptability in alien encounters, and most importantly, the Queen respects you after your actions at the Battle of Proxima. Amy remembered that day she had ordered her ship to rescue Krylie and escape pods despite being under fire. Her crew thought she was crazy, but she couldn't watch civilians die, even enemy civilians. Queen Zara had sent a personal message afterward acknowledging the honor in Amy's actions. So I marry an alien queen, Amy said slowly, and the war ends just like that. According to our research, yes, Kate replied. If the queen accepts, Amy stared at the hologram of the Krylian ship, thinking about the millions of lives that could be saved. A fake marriage, a political arrangement, nothing more. She could handle that. 2 days later, Amy boarded a diplomatic vessel bound for the neutral zone where Queen Zara's ship waited. The journey gave her time to study Krylian customs, language, and traditions. She learned how to bow properly, how to address the royal court, what colors signified what emotions. She memorized the ceremonial words she'd need to speak when they docked with the massive Krylian vessel. Amy felt her heart hammering in her chest. She wore an Alliance formal uniform, decorated with honors from her battles. A symbolic choice showing she came as both warrior and peacemaker. Krylian guards escorted her through corridors that seemed alive. The walls pulsed with subtle light. The air carried scents of unknown flowers. Amy had been briefed about Krylian ships. They were partially organic, grown rather than built. The technology was centuries beyond human understanding. The throne room doors opened, revealing a vast chamber filled with Krylians. The aliens stood at least 7 feet tall, their purple skin showing various patterns that signified clan and status. Their eyes, larger than human eyes, shimmered with colors that shifted with emotion. At the center, on an elevated platform, sat Queen Zarami. Nearly stopped breathing. The queen was magnificent. Taller than the others, her skin a deeper royal purple. Her crown of bioluminescent tendrils moved gently around her head, like underwater plants catching light in hypnotic patterns. Her eyes, when they fixed on Amy, were the color of galaxies swirling with stars. Amy approached. Stopping at the designated distance, she bowed exactly as instructed. Queen Zara, Human Captain Amy Foster, I welcome you to my vessel. The translator conveyed her musical speech. I bring greetings from Earth Alliance and a proposal for lasting peace, Amy replied, keeping her voice steady. The Queen gestured and her advisors moved away, leaving a circle of privacy around them, though still in full view of the court. I have reviewed your unusual Proposal A, marriage between us to end the conflict. Yes, Your Majesty. Amy confirmed. Such bonds are sacred among your people and would ensure peace between our worlds. The Queen studied her for long moments, her tendrils shifting color slightly. You saved Kralian lives at the risk of your own at Proxima. Why? Because it was right. Amy answered honestly. They were civilians. Children. I couldn't let them die. Something changed in the Queen's expression. Your honesty is refreshing. Captain, most humans would claim strategic advantage, the court murmured around them. I accept your proposal, Queen Zara announced loudly. Marriage between our worlds through our union. The war ends today. The court erupted in sound. Some voices raised in protest, others in support the Queen. Silenced them with a gesture. The ceremony will occur tomorrow. The Queen continued. Allow my attendants to prepare you. Captain Fosteramy was led away to luxurious quarters, where Kralian attendants measured her for ceremonial garments. They explained traditions, answered her questions, taught her the movements required for the ceremony. All the while, Amy reminded herself this was political, nothing more. A necessary sacrifice to save millions. That night she could not sleep. She stood at the viewport watching stars, wondering what she had committed herself to. A soft chime announced a visitor. Amy called for them to enter. Surprised to see Queen Zara herself, the Queen had to duck slightly to enter the human-scaled doorway. Your Majesty. Amy bowed. What brings you here? The Queen moved with fluid grace across the room. I wish to speak privately before tomorrow's events. Her translator conveyed her words, but Amy was beginning to recognize certain sounds in the Queen's natural speech. Understand this is unusual for your species, Zara continued. I wanted to assure you that your comfort and dignity will be respected. The marriage is political, but it must appear real to my people. Amy nodded. That was my understanding. The Queen studied. Her, are you afraid human? Amy considered lying, then decided against it. A little, she admitted, but not of you, of failing my mission. If this doesn't work. Zara moved closer, her bioluminescent patterns shifting to softer colors. I too feel the weight of this decision. My advisors are divided. Some believe this sets dangerous precedent. Others see it as our only path to peace. For a moment they stood together, two leaders from different worlds carrying impossible responsibilities. Tomorrow we change history, the Queen said softly. Then she was gone, leaving Amy with racing thoughts. The ceremony took place in the great hall of the Kralian vessel, broadcast across both human and Kralian territories. Amy wore a garment that blended Alliance blue, with Kralian royal purple symbols of both cultures woven into its fabric. Queen Zara was resplendent in ceremonial armor that caught light like living crystal. They spoke the ancient words, drank from the same cup, pressed palms together in the Kralian tradition. When the Queen's tendrils glowed bright blue during the final vows, Amy heard gasps from the Kralian court. The war that had taken millions of lives ended with two leaders standing hand in hand, a human captain and an alien queen looking toward an uncertain future together. The first month of the political marriage passed in a blur of diplomatic meetings and cultural exchanges. Amy moved into the royal quarters of Queen Zara's vessel, though she had her own private rooms separate from the Queen's. As agreed, the marriage existed on paper, only a necessary illusion to maintain peace. Amy quickly established a routine. She spent mornings in meetings with human representatives, afternoons learning Kralian customs, and evenings reviewing reports. Her role was clear: serve as the human connection to the Queen and ensure the peace treaty remained strong. The Kralians fascinated Amy. Their society operated on complex hierarchies based on bioluminescent patterns displayed on their skin. These patterns revealed not just social status but emotional states and even genetic heritage. Amy learned to read basic patterns, recognizing anger, caution, and approval in the subtle shifts of color and light. Queen Zara remained a mystery. The Kralian ruler maintained formal interactions, with Amy always polite, always distant. During public appearances, they performed the expected roles, touching hands or standing close as Krylian custom demanded. In private, they rarely spoke beyond necessary communication until the night everything changed. Amy was working late in her quarters when the environmental alarms activated. The ship's organic systems detected an atmospheric anomaly in the royal section. Amy grabbed her emergency kit and rushed toward Zara's chambers. The guards looked, panicked, their skin patterns flashing warning colors. "What's happening?" Amy demanded. "The Queen's life signs are erratic," one guard explained. "Our sensors detect unknown particles in her chambers." Without hesitation, Amy overrode the door locks and entered Zara's private rooms. The air inside shimmered with strange particles. Queen Zara lay on the floor, her normally vibrant skin dull, her tendrils limp around her head. Amy dropped beside her, checking vital signs. The Queen was alive, but barely. The communicator on Amy's wrist activated, connecting her to the ship's medical team. Her patterns indicate toxin exposure. The chief medical officer stated, "We must bring her to the healing chambers." "No," Amy said, remembering her briefings on Krylian biology. "Moving her could accelerate the toxin. Bring the equipment here." While waiting, Amy examined the room. Nothing seemed disturbed, yet the air contained particles not normally present in the ship's atmosphere. She activated her emergency kit, extracting an alliance scanner. The device detected traces of a compound used in mining operations. The medical team arrived, working quickly to stabilize the Queen. Amy paced nearby, watching the patterns on Zara's skin gradually strengthen. Amy noticed something odd. The Queen's tendrils kept reaching toward her whenever she moved closer. They retreated when she stepped away. The head physician, a Krylian named Cora with intricate healer patterns on her skin, noticed too. She pulled Amy aside. "Her life force seeks yours. It is unprecedented." "What does it mean?" Amy asked. Cora hesitated, her patterns shifting to uncertainty. "I cannot say with certainty. But in ancient texts, there are mentions of true bond phenomena. Usually it occurs between Krylians who share deep connection. When one is injured, the other's presence strengthens their life force." Amy felt something twist inside her chest. This was supposed to be political. "Nothing more. You should maintain contact," Cora advised. "It appears to help." Hesitantly, Amy sat beside the Queen and took her hand. Zara's tendrils immediately brightened, curling gently toward Amy's arm. The monitoring equipment showed improvement in the Queen's vital signs for hours. Amy remained there, speaking softly to Zara, telling stories of Earth, describing oceans and forests and deserts. She didn't know if the Queen could hear her, but the medical equipment showed positive responses whenever she spoke. Amy must have fallen asleep, still holding the Queen's hand. She woke to find Zara watching her. The Queen's eyes had regained their galaxy-like depth, their swirling colors more vibrant than ever. "You saved me." Zara's voice was weak, but clear. "The medical team saved you," Amy corrected, sitting up straight, suddenly aware of how close they'd been. "No," Cora confirmed. "My suspicions," the Queen said. "The toxin would have been fatal without your presence. Your life force anchored mine." She paused, her tendrils shifting to that unusual blue color Amy had seen during their wedding ceremony. "Something unexpected has happened between us, human." Before Amy could respond, Zara's security chief entered the room, her skin flashing urgent patterns. "There has been an incident in the mining colony on Talos 4. She reported human miners attacked Krylian supervisors. 3 dead." The fragile piece wavered. Amy could feel it like a physical thing. The security chief's patterns showed barely contained rage. Other Krylians in the room displayed similar hostility. Their eyes turned to Amy. Accusation evident. "Queen." Zara raised herself to sitting position. Despite her weakened state, her authority filled the room. "Investigation first," she commanded. "Send teams from both species. The treaty stands." The security chief bowed, but her patterns still flashed anger as she left. Amy turned to Zara, I should contact Earth Alliance, get human investigators involved. The Queen nodded, her expression unreadable. Amy hesitated, wondering if she should mention what happened during the healing, but decided against it. The political situation needed her full attention. Personal confusion could wait. Over the next week, tensions escalated. The mining incident appeared deliberate. Human extremists opposed to the peace treaty had planted explosives. Krillian hardliners demanded retribution. Amy worked tirelessly alongside Zara to maintain calm. Both received threats from their own people for defending the alliance. Queen Zara sent investigators from her personal guard to work with human security forces. Amy spent hours in communication with Admiral Taylor, diffusing anger from both sides. All the while, she avoided addressing what happened during Zara's healing. The strange connection, the life force anchoring chorus words about true bonds, haunted her thoughts. 9 days after the poisoning attempt, Amy was summoned to the Queen's private garden, a space filled with bioluminescent plants from the Kralian homeworld. The plants reacted to movement, their glow intensifying as Amy entered. The garden had no surveillance, making it one of the few truly private spaces on the vessel. Zara waited beside a pool of glowing liquid, her royal garments replaced by simpler attire. Her tendrils moved freely around her head, catching light in hypnotic patterns. You requested privacy, Amy said, stopping at a respectful distance. The Queen gestured to a bench carved from material that resembled mother of pearl. Sit, please. We must discuss what happened during my healing. Amy sat, keeping her posture formal. This was a conversation she both dreaded and longed for. We should focus on the mining colony situation. The treaty is fragile. Zara made a sound the translator didn't catch. Then she spoke. Politics will always demand attention, Captain. But some matters cannot wait. Her tendrils pulsed with that distinctive blue light. You asked what this color means. Amy nodded. Among my people, it indicates something we call soul recognition. Zara explained. It is rare, precious. It means one soul recognizing its counterpart in another being. It has never before occurred. Between a Kralian and a human, Amy felt her pulse quicken. What exactly are you saying? I am saying that our political arrangement has become complicated by biology and perhaps something more. Zara's galaxy eyes fixed on Amy. During my healing, our life forces synchronized. Our scientists cannot explain it, but scans show changes in both our cellular structures, subtle but significant. When we are near each other, these changes intensify. Amy remembered the comfort she felt, holding the Queen's hand, the way Zara's tendrils reached for her. This isn't what either of us agreed to, she said quietly. No, Zara acknowledged. But it has happened nonetheless. Since the healing. I feel your emotions, sometimes even across distance. Can you feel mine? Amy wanted to deny it, but the truth was inescapable. She had been experiencing flashes of emotion that didn't feel like her own, moments of alien perspective. Sometimes she even dreamed in colors humans couldn't see. Yes, she admitted, I can. The Queen moved closer, her height making her tower over the seated human captain. I do not wish to complicate your life further, but among my people, ignoring such a connection would be considered. Zara paused, searching for the right word. Cruel. What do you want from me? Amy asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Nothing you do not wish to give, Zara replied. But honesty between us. Acknowledgement of what exists. I will not demand more. Amy stood, needing to move to process her thoughts. This isn't just about us, she said. Millions of lives depend on our alliance. If this personal situation affects that. The Queen nodded, her expression solemn. I am aware the needs of our peoples must come first. But perhaps the Queen stopped as a chime sounded from her communication. Device emergency broadcast from Earth Alliance. The device announced. Amy and Zara exchanged worried glances. Their personal matters would have to wait again. The fragile peace required their full attention. But as they hurried from the garden, Amy felt the Queen's emotions flowing alongside her own concerned determination, and something deeper, something neither of them had named yet. The emergency broadcast changed everything. A human colony on Viridian had been attacked. Not by Krillians, but by a third species, the Zorians. The attack was brutal, swift and targeted specifically at human settlements. The message ended with a desperate plea for help. Admiral Taylor appeared on screen. Captain Foster, Queen Zara, she acknowledged. We have reason to believe this attack was designed to fracture our alliance. Intelligence suggests the Zorians want both our species weakened. They fear our combined strength. Amy felt Zara's anger through their growing connection. The Queen stepped forward, her tendrils flaring. The Krylian Empire will respond to this threat. Alliance vessels will have safe passage through our territory. To reach Viridian, yeah. Admiral nodded gratefully. Our nearest ships are 3 days away. Even at maximum speed, I offer Krylian vessels as well. Queen Zara stated. They can reach Viridian in hours. Amy watched the exchange, feeling a surge of pride that wasn't entirely her own. The Queen was demonstrating true alliance, not just peaceful coexistence, but active support. Viridian was a nightmare. The human colony lay in ruins, smoke rising from destroyed buildings. Bodies lay where they had fallen. When the Krylian vessels arrived, the few surviving humans reacted with fear until they saw Amy Foster step out alongside Queen Zara. The human captain and the alien queen working together to coordinate rescue efforts. For 3 days they worked without rest, Amy organizing human survivors, Zara commanding Krylian medical teams and security forces. They slept in shifts in a command tent established at the colony center. They ate the same food, drank the same water, stood together to face both human fear and Krylian prejudice on. The third night, Amy woke from restless sleep feeling a presence nearby. Queen Zara sat at the small field desk reviewing damage reports. Her skin glowed faintly, providing the only light in the tent. You should sleep, Amy said. Sitting up, the Queen turned, her galaxy eyes reflecting moonlight coming through the tent opening. I require less rest than humans. Her voice was softer than usual, lacking its royal formality. Amy moved to sit across from her. The survivors report, seeing Zorian scout ships before the main attack. They had distinctive marking patterns that match vessels seen near 3 other human colonies. Zara nodded. The pattern suggests systematic targeting. Their next move will likely be against Outpost 73, based on proximity and strategic value. They worked in companionable silence, plotting defense strategies and evacuation plans. As dawn approached, Amy found herself studying the Queen. The way her tendrils moved when she concentrated, the subtle shifts of color beneath, her royal purple skin, the grace of her long fingers as they marked locations on star charts. Zara looked up, catching Amy watching her. The Queen's tendrils flushed that now familiar blue. We have not spoken of our connection since the garden. No, Amy. Agreed. There hasn't been time. The Queen set down her data tablet. There is never enough time in war, but some conversations cannot wait indefinitely. Her voice remained gentle but carried unmistakable determination. The connection between us grows, stronger. Each day I feel more of your emotions, sense more of your thoughts. It is becoming difficult to distinguish where my consciousness ends and yours begins. Amy had noticed it too. Moments when she found herself thinking in patterns rather than words, understanding Krylian cultural references she had never learned. Sometimes she even dreamed through Zara's eyes, seeing colors beyond human perception. Is it dangerous? She asked. Not dangerous, Zara replied, but profound. Among my people, such connections are considered sacred. Even royal decree cannot sever them. She hesitated. My scientists believe it relates to quantum entanglement at a cellular level. Our life forces have become synchronized partly due to my poisoning and your intervention, partly due to something they cannot explain. What happens now? Amy asked the question that had been haunting her. Zara moved around the desk, kneeling beside Amy's chair to bring them to eye level. That depends on you, Captain. My people would consider us truly bonded already. But humans value choice above predestination. I will respect your decision, whatever it may be. Amy felt the Queen's emotions flowing alongside her own. Honesty, hope, vulnerability. She reached out hesitantly, touching one of Zara's tendrils. The appendage curled gently around her finger, sending a pleasant tingling sensation up her arm. "This isn't what either of us signed up for," Amy whispered. No, Zara agreed. "A political arrangement has become something neither of us anticipated." Her galaxy eyes studied Amy's face. "Does it disturb you to feel connected to one not of your species?" Amy considered the question, searching her feelings, finding truth beneath layers of duty and expectation. "No," she finally answered. "It doesn't disturb me. That might be the most surprising part." Relief flowed through their connection. Zara's tendrils brightened. "I had feared a commotion outside interrupted them. A human messenger burst into the tent. Captain, urgent communication from Earth Alliance." Amy reluctantly pulled away from Zara. Admiral Taylor appeared on the communication screen, her expression grave. "Captain Foster, satellite imagery has detected a Zorian battle fleet approaching Earth. They bypassed our outer defenses, using technology we've never seen before. They will reach Earth orbit in less than 24 hours. Amy felt her blood run cold. Earth had defenses, but nothing that could repel a surprise attack of this magnitude. Not without time to prepare. Queen Zara moved into view of the screen. "Admiral," she said formally, "the Krylian Empire stands with Earth. We offer our fleet, our technology, our warriors." Taylor looked momentarily stunned by the offer, then nodded. "Thank you, Your Majesty. But even your fastest vessels, we have prototype technology." Zara interrupted. "Something not yet shared with allies. A quantum fold drive that can transport vessels almost instantaneously across vast distances. It has never been tested with human passengers, but we have no choice." Amy said, understanding. Immediately what Zara offered was beyond generous. It was unprecedented sharing of technology. The Krylians had kept secret for centuries. Admiral Taylor nodded. "Send all available data on the technology. Our engineers will begin compatibility assessments immediately." After the transmission ended, Amy turned to Zara. "That technology is your greatest military advantage. Why would you share it?" The Queen stepped closer, her tendrils swaying gently. "Because Earth is your home. Because what threatens your people threatens all sentient life." And because she paused, her skin glowing with emotional patterns, Amy was beginning to recognize tenderness, trust, devotion. "Because what matters to you matters to me." Amy felt the weight of those words. Understanding finally what had been growing between them since that first diplomatic meeting. It wasn't just biology or quantum entanglement or shared life force. It was simpler and more complex all at once. "We should prepare to depart for Earth," Amy said, practical, despite the emotional revelation. But her hand reached for Zara's, their fingers intertwining. The journey to Earth aboard the royal vessel was tense. The prototype quantum fold drive required modifications to accommodate human physiology. Krylian engineers worked alongside human technicians, making adjustments, testing simulations. Failure could mean molecular disintegration for everyone aboard. Amy watched from the bridge as Zara personally oversaw the modifications. The Queen had not left engineering. For 18 hours working tirelessly alongside both species. Her dedication inspired similar commitment from everyone aboard. Amy brought food to her. Finding Zara bent over complex calculations, her tendrils moving in patterns that indicated deep concentration. "You need to rest," Amy said, setting down the tray. "Just a few more calibrations," Zara replied without looking up. "The phase variance still shows potential instability for human neural patterns." Amy placed her hand on Zara's arm, feeling the connection between them strengthen at the contact. "You can't save Earth if you collapse from exhaustion." The Queen finally looked up, her galaxy eyes meeting Amy's. "If we fail, if Earth falls, we won't fail," Amy said with conviction. The certainty in her voice surprised even herself. Zara's tendrils brightened, responding to Amy's emotion. "When did you become so optimistic, human?" "Since I married an alien queen and discovered the universe had more surprises than I ever imagined." Amy replied, a small smile. Forming Zara made a sound the translator interpreted as laughter. Very well, a short rest, then we continue. 6 hours later, they stood together on the bridge. Final preparations for the quantum fold jump were complete. The massive Krillian vessel and its escort ships carried reinforcements that could turn the tide against the Zorian fleet. But first, they had to reach Earth alive, all crew secure for quantum transition. The first officer announced, "Fold drive initializing." Amy felt Zara's hand take hers. Their fingers intertwined purple against pink. The Queen's tendrils glowed that distinctive blue. A beacon in the tense atmosphere of the bridge. "Whatever happens," Amy whispered, "we face it together." The Queen's only answer was to tighten her grip. As the stars outside began to bend, the quantum fold drive engaged with a silent flash of light. Reality seemed to bend around them. The stars stretched into infinite lines, then snapped back into focus. Amy felt a strange pressure in her mind, like her thoughts were being pulled in multiple directions. She gripped Zara's hand tighter, anchoring herself through their connection. Then suddenly it was over. Earth filled the view screen, beautiful and blue, a perfect jewel in space, but not peaceful. Flashes of weapons fire lit up the outer atmosphere. The Zorian attack had begun. Status report, Zara commanded, her voice steady, despite the tension Amy felt flowing through their connection. Quantum fold. Successful. First Officer Mira reported ship systems functioning at 93%. Earth Alliance defense forces engaged with Zorian vessels. Estimated 17 Earth vessels against 42 Zorian warships. Amy studied the tactical display. The situation looked grim. Earth ships fought valiantly, but were clearly outmatched. Zorian technology cut through human defenses with terrifying efficiency. Open communication with Alliance Command. Amy ordered. Admiral Taylor appeared on screen. Her uniform disheveled, evidence of a direct hit to Alliance headquarters. Captain Foster. Queen Zara, her relief visible. The Zorians breached our outer defenses 2 hours ago. Their technology counters everything we throw at them. We bring reinforcements and Krillian battle technology. Queen Zara stated, "We stand ready to engage." The Admiral nodded gratefully. "Deploy at your discretion. Coordinate with General Bishop in Sector 9. Amy turned to Zara. "Our ships should focus on the Zorian command vessel," she suggested, pointing to a larger ship at the fleet center. Cut off the head. Zara studied the display, her tendrils moving in patterns Amy now recognized as strategic calculation. The Krillian fleet can engage their primary forces while smaller vessels target their command ship. The Queen looked at her officers. Prepare battle. Formations. Defensive pattern. Zara 3. The bridge erupted into activity. Krillian officers moved with practiced precision. Their skin patterns shifted to combat readiness. Brilliant arrays of light communicating information faster than words. Amy stood beside Zara, watching as the Krillian vessels moved into formation. Their organic ships flowed like water into strategic positions. The Queen raised her hand. The gesture activated the ship's weapons systems. Krillian vessels released energy beams that cut through Zorian shields as if they were paper. The battle joined fierce and desperate. Amy coordinated with Earth vessels while Zara directed the Krillian fleet. Together they created a seamless command strategy, drawing on their deepening connection. They anticipated each other's thoughts, completing tactical plans without needing to voice them fully. For 3 hours, the space around Earth blazed with weapons fire. Zorian vessels fell one by one, but not without cost. 3 Krillian ships destroyed. 7 Earth vessels crippled. The casualty reports flowed in, making Amy wince with each new number. Then came the moment that changed everything. Proximity alert. First Officer Mira called out. Secondary Zorian fleet detected emerging from fold space. Her skin patterns flashed urgent warning. The tactical display updated, showing 15 new Zorian warships appearing behind the Krillian fleet. A trap. Amy realized they had been expected. Queen Zara stood tall, her expression revealing nothing but. Amy felt her momentary fear quickly replaced by determination. Rotate shield harmonics, she ordered. Prepare quantum torpedoes. Battle formation. Zara 7. The Krillian vessels responded, but not quickly enough. A massive energy weapon fired from the lead Zorian ship, striking the royal vessel directly. The ship shuddered violently. Systems failed across multiple decks. Warning lights flashed. Emergency containment fields activated automatically. Status: Amy demanded helping a fallen officer back. To her station, primary shield generator offline. First Officer Mira reported. Life support compromised on decks 7 through 12. Weapon systems at 40%. Another hit rocked the ship, sending crew members flying. Zara caught Amy before she could slam into a console. Their eyes met briefly, sharing unspoken concern. We need to retreat, Amy said. We can regroup at Luna Base. Before Zara could respond, a security officer approached, urgency in her movements. My queen, we have detected multiple boarding parties. Zorian soldiers have breached decks 14, 16, and 20. They move toward the engineering section. If they reach the quantum fold drive, Amy began, they will acquire our most advanced technology. Zara finished, and use it against both our peoples. Her decision came swiftly. Evacuate all non-essential personnel to escape vessels. Secure engineering at all costs. Amy activated her communicator. Team Alpha form. Defensive perimeter at engineering access points, she ordered. Then turning to Zara, you need to evacuate. This vessel is specifically targeted. The Queen's tendrils flared with indignation. I will not abandon my crew or my ship. Amy stepped closer, lowering her voice. You are not just a ship captain. You are the Krillian Queen. The survival of your entire species depends on your safety. Zara's galaxy eyes flashed with emotion. I will not leave you. The connection between them pulsed with intensity. Amy felt Zara's determination, her refusal to be separated. Practical concerns. Warred with newfound emotional bonds, Amy made a swift decision. Very well. We go to engineering together. Stop the Zorians, secure the fold. Drive. They moved through the damaged ship, flanked by Krillian guards and human security officers. Smoke-filled. Corridors' emergency lighting cast everything in eerie blue glow. They encountered the first Zorian soldiers at Junction 17. The aliens were tall and pale, with exoskeletal armor fused to their bodies. Their weapons fired energy pulses that disintegrated anything they touched. The security team engaged them while Amy and Zara pressed forward. Engineering was chaos. Krillian technicians fought desperately against Zorian boarders. The quantum fold drive glowed at the center of the chamber, its containment field fluctuating dangerously. The chief engineer spotted them. My queen, the quantum core is destabilizing. If the Zorians tamper further, it could create a rupture in space-time. Amy assessed the situation quickly. We need to stabilize the core first, then deal with the boarders. An explosion rocked the far side of engineering. Zorian soldiers poured through the new breach. Amy and Zara found themselves cut off from their security team. This way, Zara pulled Amy toward an auxiliary control room. Only royal access can seal this area. Inside the small chamber, Zara placed her hands on a console that lit up with bioluminescent patterns, matching her skin patterns. The door sealed behind them, cutting off the sounds of battle. The auxiliary, controls for the quantum core. Amy realized, looking at the glowing console. Zara nodded. This room was designed for emergency stabilization, but she hesitated, her tendrils drooping slightly. There is a problem. The systems require direct neural interface. Too many pathways are damaged for standard control. Amy understood immediately, the same neural link they had used during the rebel attack months ago. But with damaged systems, the risk was exponentially higher. We have no choice. Amy said, we either stabilize the core or everyone dies. Zara's tendrils glowed that distinctive blue, her galaxy eyes fixing on Amy's. The neural load will be extreme. If we attempt this together, the connection between us will become permanent. There will be no returning to what we were before, no separation. Amy felt the weight of that statement, understanding all its implications, personal, political, existential. Do it, she said, taking Zara's hand. Their fingers intertwined as they had so many times before, but this time felt different. Final decisive, Zara placed their joined hands on the neural interface console. The sensation began as it had before, a tingling at Amy's fingertips, then a rush, like diving into cool water. But this time, it didn't stop. The sensation grew, stronger, deeper, more invasive. She could feel the ship around them, its damaged systems, its failing containment fields. Most overwhelming was Zara's presence in her mind. Their thoughts didn't just touch, they began to merge. Memories flowed between them. Amy saw Zara's childhood on the Krylian homeworld, felt her ascension to the throne, experienced the weight of responsibility for an entire species. Zara in turn witnessed Amy's life on Earth, her military training, her losses, her hopes together. They directed the quantum core, stabilizing its fluctuating matrix, redirecting power from non-essential systems, reinforcing containment fields. They worked as one being, two minds sharing one purpose, one heart. When they finally disengaged from the console, both collapsed to the floor, exhausted. The ship's computer announced core stabilized, quantum field contained. Amy found herself unable to distinguish some of her thoughts from Zara's. Their connection had become something new, something unprecedented. She could access Krylian language knowledge instinctively. She felt the subtle bioelectric currents that Krylians used for secondary communication. Zara reached out, touching Amy's face with trembling fingers. "I feel your mind within mine. Your memories, your humanity. Are you okay?" Amy asked, concerned about the profound changes they had undergone. Zara made a sound that was both laughter and wonder. "I am more than okay. I am transformed. We are transformed." Her tendrils reached toward Amy, moving with deliberate intention. They gently touched Amy's temples, creating a circuit of sensation. The physical manifestation of their mental bond and alert sounded on the communication system. "The Zorians are retreating," Admiral Taylor's voice announced. The combined fleet drove them back. Damage reports indicate they lost nearly 60% of their forces. 1 year had passed since the Battle of Earth. 1 year since Amy and Zara had joined their minds to save the quantum core. 1 year of unprecedented change across two civilizations. The royal vessel hung in orbit above Earth, a symbol of the new era, a permanent embassy between worlds. The ship that had once been purely Krylian now housed both species. Modified sections accommodated human biology, while other areas remained designed for Krylian physiology. Shared spaces blended both, creating something entirely new. Amy stood at the main viewport, watching Earth rotate below. Her reflection showed subtle changes. The neural connection with Zara had left physical marks. Faint luminescent patterns now traced Amy's skin, visible in low light. Her eyes had developed a slight shimmer reminiscent of Zara's galaxy gaze. Not quite human anymore. Not quite Krylian. Something new, Queen. Zara approached, her bioluminescent tendrils moving gently in greeting. "The Earth Alliance Council has approved the final draft of the Unified Defense Treaty," she said. "The signing ceremony is scheduled for tomorrow." Amy nodded, feeling Zara's satisfaction through their bond. Both their peoples had come far since the desperate political marriage that started everything. The Zorian attack had accelerated integration between humans and Krylians. What began as military alliance had grown into cultural exchange, technological sharing, even the beginnings of integrated communities, not without resistance. Amy noted, thinking of the protests that still occurred on both worlds. Change never comes easily. Zara moved closer, her tall form radiating warmth. True. But the benefits become more evident each day. The medical breakthroughs alone have convinced many skeptics. Amy smiled. The combination of human creativity and Krylian biotechnology had produced revolutionary treatments for diseases that once seemed incurable. The shared knowledge benefited both species in ways neither had anticipated. They stood together, watching the planet below their hands, naturally finding each other, fingers intertwining in the way that had become so familiar. Their connection had deepened over the months. Words became increasingly unnecessary between them. Thoughts flowed freely across their bond, sometimes making it difficult to remember where one ended and the other began. The door chimed, announcing a visitor. Admiral Taylor entered, looking considerably more relaxed than during their wartime interactions. "Captain Foster, Queen Zara." She greeted them with a respectful nod. The Integration Committee has completed their report on the first mixed species colony on Mars. The results are promising. Amy received the data tablet reviewing the information. The Mars colony represented the boldest experiment yet, humans and Krillians living together, sharing resources, building a community from scratch. The challenges had been enormous, from environmental adaptations to cultural misunderstandings. But they were succeeding, creating something unprecedented. Excellent news, Admiral Zara replied. Have the educational exchange programs begun? Taylor nodded. The first human students arrived at the Royal Academy on Krelios last week, and 20 Krylian scholars have joined Earth universities. Their biological insights are already advancing our understanding of quantum biology. After discussing further details, Taylor departed, leaving Amy and Zara alone again. The Queen moved to a console, activating a star map that filled the center of the room. The Zorians have been quiet these past months. Zara observed their defeats at Earth and Viridian cost them significantly, but our intelligence suggests they rebuild their forces. Amy studied the map, noting the patterns of Zorian movement. They're consolidating around the Cygnus sector, rebuilding, yes, but also searching for allies. Other species who fear our union. Zara nodded, her tendrils moving in patterns that conveyed strategic consideration, which is why tomorrow's treaty signing carries such importance. United, we present a deterrent that no single species can challenge. Amy felt a flutter of emotion from Zara, something beyond political concern. Tomorrow is significant for other reasons too, Round said gently. The Queen's tendrils brightened with that distinctive blue that had become so familiar. 1 year since our minds joined, since what began as political became personal. Amy moved closer, her hand reaching up to touch one of Zara's tendrils. The appendage curled gently around her fingers, sending pleasant sensations up her arm. Sometimes I can't remember what it felt like before, she admitted. To be just me without you, always present in my thoughts. Do you regret it? Zara asked, though she could feel the answer through their bond. Never, Amy replied, the word carrying absolute certainty. Her free hand moved to Zara's face, tracing the royal markings that distinguished her from other Krylians. I never expected this when I agreed to a political marriage. But I wouldn't change it. Their connection pulsed with shared emotion. The once clear boundaries between human and Krylian consciousness had blurred over time, creating something unique in the galaxy. Two leaders joined not just by politics or biology, but by choice. By growing love that transcended species. A chime from the communication system interrupted the moment. First Officer Mira appeared on screen. My Queen, Captain Foster. The delegation from the Andorian Collective has arrived, requesting an audience. Send them to the diplomatic hall, Zara instructed. We'll join them shortly. After Mira departed, Amy straightened her uniform, adjusting the insignia that now combined Earth Alliance and Krylian Empire emblems. The Andorians could become valuable allies against the Zorians. She noted Zara made a sound of agreement, but they remain cautious about our bond. The concept of cross-species neural linking disturbs them. The neural link between Amy and Zara had become both inspiration and concern across the galaxy. Some species viewed it with fascination, others with fear. Still others sought to replicate it, seeing potential for deeper understanding between different forms of life. But none had succeeded. The bond between the human, Captain, and the Krylian Queen remained unique. Singular. I suppose we are rather disturbing. Zara continued, a hint of amusement coloring her thoughts. Neither fully human nor fully Krylian. Something new. Something unprecedented, Amy smiled. Two people, who should have been enemies, becoming something more, something better. She reached for Zara's hand, feeling the familiar connection strengthen at the contact. Shall we go disturb some Andorians? The diplomatic hall had been redesigned to accommodate. Multiple species Earth Alliance representatives stood alongside Krylian officials. The once separate groups now mingled comfortably together, sharing ideas and strategies. The changes of the past year were evident everywhere. Joint technological projects, integrated military commands, cultural exchange programs, Amy and Zara entered together, their presence causing a ripple of reaction. Respectful nods from humans, luminescent acknowledgments from Krillians, curious observation from the blue-skinned Andorian delegates. The neural link between the human captain and the Krillian queen had become legendary. Their ability to function as both individuals and a connected pair fascinated xenobiologists across known space. Ambassador Patricia Chen approached Captain Foster Queen Zara. She greeted them. The Andorian representatives have expressed interest in our educational exchange programs. They believe exposure to both human and Krillian thought processes could benefit their youth. Excellent, Amy replied. We should arrange a demonstration of the integrated curriculum. The meeting proceeded smoothly. Formal discussions of alliance, technological sharing, defensive strategies, against the backdrop of political negotiation. Amy felt Zara's thoughts, flowing alongside her own observations, insights. Occasional amusement at diplomatic posturing. Their ability to process information together given them unique perspective. Seeing connections others missed. Understanding implications from multiple viewpoints. Hours later, after the delegates departed, Amy and Zara returned to their private quarters. The space reflected their unique situation, designed to accommodate both human and Krillian biology, comfortable for both yet fully suited to neither. Just like them, Zara moved to the environmental controls, adjusting the atmosphere to the slightly higher oxygen level Amy preferred after long meetings. The Queen's consideration flowed naturally through their connection. No conscious thought required, just awareness of Amy's needs as immediate as her own. Amy activated the star viewing portal. The artificial skylight revealed the vast sweep of the galaxy above them, stars, nebulae, distant worlds. 1 year ago, we were enemies, she said softly. Now we're something no one has words for. Zara made a contemplative sound, her tendrils moving gently. The Krillian High Council suggested a new term today: synthesized consciousness. The joining of separate minds into harmonious whole. Amy smiled, leaning against Zara's tall form, feeling the Queen's arm wrap around her shoulders. Sounds very scientific, very clinical. Nothing about how it feels. And how does it feel? Human. Zara's voice carried gentle teasing, the question unnecessarily spoken when she could simply access Amy's emotions. Amy turned in the Queen's embrace, looking up into those galaxy eyes that had once seemed so alien, now felt like home. Like belonging, she answered. Like finding a piece of myself I never knew was missing. Zara's tendrils brightened with emotion, the blue glow illuminating their shared space. The political marriage that saved two civilizations had transformed into something neither could have imagined, something beautiful, profound, revolutionary. Their unique bond, not just changing them but rippling outward, changing their peoples, changing the galaxy.